AEW is officially in the UK. We are days away from All In Wembley Stadium. I got to sit down with Will Ospreay. This is Close Up. A very special edition of Close Up with none other than Will Ospreay.
Hello, dressed in my finest PE teacher.
These are very short
shorts.
Yeah,
I feel like a gym teacher for you guys. But you know, I got my eye socks on, crotch shot right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Choice. It works.
It's all right. You look fabulous, but
Thank
like
you.
me on the other end.
Just a little green to,
just down the
keep
road.
The party alive here a little bit. Okay, so we are setting the stage here. This is the Dynamite in Cardiff before we head into All In. The very first Dynamite ever overseas here in Cardiff. You're not from Cardiff, but what does it mean to you to be able to have AEW here in the UK?
Well, I mean, it's so good because, like, I mean, when I used to wrestle, right, on the indies, I would, it wouldn't be that much money, but I would work from Monday to Friday. I'd be on building sites, all these burly men, and then, like, afterwards I'd get, like...
You were doing, like, construction?
No, like, it's funny, but I'm just a mastic man. So, like, basically, all your bathrooms, all your windows, you know, that rubber seal around it?
Yeah.
Used to do that. Honestly, I'll be honest with you, I was so bad at it. Like, it was my uncle that gave me the job, but deep down he was just mortified and embarrassing me constantly. But, like, just doing a favour for the family. But, like, I would used to do that and then get in a car and drive down to Wales. And I've worked Wales in, like, church halls.
Wow.
I was actually here last year doing some independence in, like, this filthy nightclub.
But those are always, like, the best times,
No,
right?
honestly, like, I could tell you so many, like, little stories of going through the indies and, like, the terrible places I wrestled. Like, wrestled in a social club, right, where you're, like, shooting people off the ropes, right, and then you're ducking someone's clothesline, but also there's a projection screen.
Oh, my gosh.
Right here, so you got to duck your head down as well. But
look out.
But it's home, man, and that's what I like. The whole journey of doing this, like, starting from the bottom, like, real bottom, like, getting, like, £25 a match, and then, like, working your way up. I've done every part of this country, and then to go over to Japan, do my stuff there, coming over here, and then this is the first Dynamite that's coming over, and it's in Wales. Like, it's a 3-hour drive for me. I haven't got to get on the plane. I got to put my flight socks on.
Well, lucky for you, because I think everyone else here is feeling a little jet-lagged right now. We're all kind of hanging on.
How does it feel?
By a thread.
How does it feel? Think about this, right? You're all feeling that jet lag every day.
Dude, I don't know how
day.
you do that. I mean, obviously, it was a choice that you made. It was the best decision for your family. But that is rough. To be on that plane every week, which we already know physically what being on a plane does to my body. I don't do what you do. My body hurts when I get off of a plane. I can't imagine what it's like for you every week doing that.
I'm constantly in pain, but, like, in the same sense, it's way better than what I was doing in Japan. Like, Japan at one point was 15 hours. You'd be, like, 4, 5, sometimes 6 to 7 weeks away from your family. It's difficult. You're 9 hours ahead, so when just as I'm about to go to bed, she's actually, like, kind of doing her day. It's like, it was always hard and it's always difficult, but, like, in a weird way, it's kind of meditation for me now. Like, life is Life is constant noise, whether it's AEW or whether it's being with a 5-year-old. It's constant noise. So, like, anytime that I do get some silence, I relish it.
I do too. To get on the plane, put on headphones, read a book. Like, you are kind of untouchable.
I can't
And fair. Okay, you can listen to an audiobook. An audiobook would serve you well. Okay, so you kind of mentioned some of the stuff of being here in the UK, working your way up. Have you been feeling a little bit nostalgic of what your career has been able to look like to where you're at now? Yes, you were on Wembley last year. You got to be a part of the show. But this time around, things are a little bit different.
I mean, a lot different. I mean, the exposure has been crazy. Like, I feel like I had a decent enough following, like, before I came here, right? Like, I feel like I had a few matches under my belt that kind of made me this, like, underground best wrestler ever. But, like, coming over here, it's a different animal. And it's intimidating at points, but, like, walking around, we were doing some filming a little while ago, and I had to show the AEW guy while they're filming these documentary pieces. They went, "Where did you used to wrestle?" And I went, "Well, I used the backyard of it," and I took them over here, and it was this, I felt something there, because I was like, man, I was like, I used to do this when I was 14 years old. Like, even before that, I was like bumping since I was like 11 or 12.
Yeah.
And then to do all the backyard and stuff, and then to go out even in Cardiff, there's a bunch of guys that I've seen back there, like, and they're all my friends. I've all came up all with them, and there's always been this, like, love and respect, and I'm overwhelmed. It's starting to get overwhelming, though. I will say that. I had to message the wife and just be like, it's getting there now.
Yeah, of course, as it's getting closer and closer to be at Wembley. I mean, we'll talk about your match in a second, but just, like, the magnitude of what that means. I mean, to be at a stadium like that is like church to some people. I mean, that stadium just holds so much lore to it.
I mean, last year was the first time I ever actually was inside that building. Like when I used to work with a massic firm, I worked not too far away from it and far enough where I could see the archway.
Yeah.
But like you would see the herds of football fans that would go in there. Like especially if you're working on a weekend, you would just see them.
Yeah.
But it is a sight to behold, and going in there last year, I can't tell you enough. Like it is one of the craziest stories.
You have the tattoo, right?
Yeah.
I love that. I
Honestly,
think it's really cool that you got that done.
That was my first ever tattoo.
That was your first one?
Yeah, because my mum hates her, mate, and I love my mum so much. Like I honestly worship the ground she walks on.
She's coming to All In, yeah?
She is, yeah. She came last year, but like, it was one of those things where I have never believed in anything enough to put it on my skin. But I believed in myself enough to get me to like something that not even some of the greatest and the biggest draws of professional wrestlers have ever done.
Yep.
I'm in Wembley Stadium.
Yeah.
And like, it might be lost on like the American audience at all, but like Wembley is the biggest stadium in the UK. It's like, it hosts the Euros a little while ago. It hosts all the big games. It's iconic. It's legendary. And and then here I come into some kid down the road.
Oh, please. We were all very excited that Will Ospreay was on the show.
But like, I get it to a point, but in the same sense, like you got so many stars back there.
Yeah,
and
true.
The fact that Tony gave his just trust. He trusted me to go out there and deliver a really great professional wrestling match.
Yeah.
And I did it. And I'll never be able to tell you that feeling of looking up and seeing the fireworks and being like, this is a flipping dream.
Well, I'll ask you again what happens on Sunday. We'll hopefully get to revisit it and
I hope so.
You know, restore that feeling, as we say around here. You were talking a little bit earlier about, you know, all the different matches that you've had and to be able to come here into AEW and gung-ho, here we go. Do you want to protect sort of that lore of Will Ospreay? Like you said, this not underground, but like you were that cool guy, like having that Will Ospreay lore to you. Is that something that you are aware of?
Honestly, no, because I'm a bit of a bumbling idiot most of the times. I just don't know what it is. I feel like this is my personality. I'm a very bubbly person, but like I do have a mode when I lock in, when I get into the ring. But like, it's one of those things where like I feel like I've been shouting down a Japanese camera that I'm one of the best wrestlers in the world, and it was my time to kind of prove it. And now being amongst the most elite roster of wrestlers in the world, I feel like I'm learning the game all over again.
Right.
But I feel like I'm swimming in these waters. I feel like I'm doing all right.
You're doing all right.
First 5 months here in the company and I'm already a champion. Like I've got one belt under me. Reign. So like I'm doing good, and I feel like I can keep going.
It's funny because I remember when you first started, of course, being very familiar with you coming in and seeing your matches and seeing your wrestling, but it was when you came in to do a press conference after one of our pay-per-views that I was like, oh, he's gonna be fine. Like the way that you just so seamlessly could be you. And that's very hard for a lot of people to be able to do that. And I feel like you just nailed it.
I just like talking to people.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things. I'm your mate down the pub. Like, I always chat with people, buy everyone drinks. Like, even now, like, after All In, if it's, like, a good day and, like, there's people at the pub, like, I just buy people drinks and talk with them. Like, I'm really annoyed on plane rides where I'm like, what are you watching, mate?
What are you reading? Tell me about it.
Right, go on, talk to me, please. I want friends.
Okay, someone that maybe you're not so much friends with, MJF.
Friends at all.
No, not at all. That guy's got
He's a
very small group of friends for that guy.
Small group around there as well, man.
Talk to me about what that experience has been like to be working with MJF. I guess sort of like the disrespect that has come with that as well.
I mean, like, I've just never met anyone like him because I feel like there's always been kind of like an ounce of respect behind most of my opponents.
Sure.
Like, even guys that I don't like for example, like me and Kenny, like I hate Kenny, but like there's still that level of respect where like Max has said some like awful things. Like, I mean, like my nan passing away a little while ago and like still kind of fresh and still kind of raw to me. And the fact that he wants to kind of bring that stuff up into the to the public to get a cheap pop from the audience. I don't know, like stuff like that just does not sit right with me. I've never really liked him as as a professional wrestler, I just feel like the way that he got in here was he kissed the right asses, and like we all know the geezer we're all talking about. He's not here anymore to protect you, but still for some reason we're catering to him, and he's still here. So like I've got to clean up the mess.
Sure. It's funny because I remember you saying that in a promo of like coming in here to clean up the mess and to look at sort of the wake that MJF has left behind him, and now for you to step in and have this match with him for the American title?
Please don't call it that.
It's not right.
Like, look, I understand that my money now, like I get paid by the Americans and everything, but like it's this weird, stupid ploy because like he's so desperate and needy and insecure as a man that he can go out there with an American title, belittle everyone, and it's so hard to boo somebody, especially as a foreigner, someone coming in here and he's parading around with like the American title. It's kind of like it's hard to boo a guy, but like the reality is he's a knobhead. I can't stand him as like, this is about restoring that title. Like, the people that have held that title beforehand, like your husband being one of them, like Orange, Pac, flipping out Roddy, Phoenix, like, it is about, like, creating that legacy and, like, holding that lineage to, like, a higher standard. And the fact that he's just, like, done that, it just irks me, it pisses me off. And, like, this is why Sunday there's so much motivation in going into there and making sure I get it back.
Let's talk about the Tiger Driver, because that has been a big question mark about exactly where you stand with that. Where are things right now?
I mean, I don't really like addressing it, but okay. All right, we're getting into it.
Please.
Yeah, my apologies. So, back in 2023, I just wrestled Kenny Omega. It was one of the most high-profile matches ever. During the COVID era of Japan, it wasn't kind on any of us, and Kenny belittled all of my work, and I held him to such a high regard, belittled me, and that's why we just don't like one another anymore, right? And I lost, and I'm not afraid to say it, like I got my ass handed to me. It was like, not even joking, 80% him, 20% me. I got my ass handed to me bad. So recovering from that and coming back from that, I just wasn't in the mood. I was vengeful, and the first time I ever used it was over in New Japan. I was against a guy called Taichi, and Taichi was the last student of Kawada. So not only was I studying him, I was studying Kawada tapes. And when I was doing this match, I was trying to get him up for the Stormbreaker, and I couldn't get him up, but I could get him here. And I don't know what it was, but something just took over, and I said, fuck it, drop him on his head. And I let go, and like, I noticed it straight away. Like his strikes had no impact on him. His kicks didn't have the same flavour behind it. Like it done the damage. And I just started using it on everybody, like friends, mates, and like it never done the damage that it did recently. And we're told in wrestling, like if I throw an elbow at you for a hidden blade, like you can put a guard up.
Yeah.
Like if you're trained enough, you put a guard up, right? But I want to take anyone's livelihood away, and I don't want to take anyone's career away. And so back at Revolution, I remember talking to Ricky Steamboat, and he just wanted to chat with me about strategy, which I've never done with a man of his. And I started talking to him, and I said to him, and if this doesn't work, I'll hit him with a Tiger Driver. And he was like, what is that? So I got it up on my phone, and I showed it. His face completely changed. Yeah. And he said, the words he said was, don't bastardize that move. And I never understood what he meant. It's only when, like the aftermath of it all, when I wrestled Brian, I remember hitting him with the hidden blade, and I just said, do it, Tiger Driver, go for it. I remember hitting it, I remember firing up like I flipping did it. And I didn't see the referee calling for the doctor, so I just thought, I'm nailing the hidden blade, I'm going for this thing. 1, 2, 3, done it. It was only when all the doctors started coming in, and I was just, I don't know, like I've never felt like that, because Brian I generally hold, like, he's my hero.
Brian, yeah.
He's my hero. Like, long before people held up their fingers like that, Bryan Danielson used to march to the beat of Final Countdown in Europe.
Yeah.
And I have never felt this awful about a man who is on his last legs with pro wrestling, who's had neck issues before, and he's like...
Well, the state of Brian now, to be in the main event at Wembley.
Yeah, but like, with all due respect, like, I understand people are like, well, he was in the main event at Wembley, you should do it again. Yeah, but you're not seeing the cortisone injections going into his neck. Like I am.
Yeah.
Man's gone on like TV to say like, I've got to have neck surgery this year. Like, and whose fault is that? It's mine. Like, I live with that burden, like no one else does, and it's...
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's all right.
It's so easy for everyone just to be like, this is stupid, just hit it. It's just kind of like, I generally have some remorse and actual like sympathy for like hurting someone that I generally look up to. And I know there are rules in wrestling, right? There are some like unwritten rules. I just want to avoid it. I'm good enough without it. I was good enough without the move before. I can do it again.
So all that being said...
Sorry about that.
No, I appreciate the vulnerability and the honesty about it and your relationship with Brian and the ramifications that it's had on him as he's getting ready to, you know, eventually hang up those boots.
I haven't talked to him since, so like it's one of those ones where like, I don't know, I can't even go near him. It's awkward.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. I mean, I hope that at some point you guys are able to address it and talk about it. You guys are, you know, professionals that are both held in such a high regard. It's a shame to have it be in that kind of a situation, but I get where you're at. Hopefully time kind of heals the wound on that one as well.
Sorry, like, honestly, like, it feels like I've really, like, dampened the mood
all right.
of this. Like, I apologise, but it's just, it's been playing on my mind so much, because flipping, you know what Twitter's like, Jesus.
Of course.
Sorry,
yes. No, I know. It's
my
not a very forgiving place to be.
No.
Okay, just to switch gears here very quickly before I let you go. I know you've got tons going on here as we get set for Dynamite and, of course, All In. What would it mean for you to be able to walk out of Wembley Stadium as the international champion?
I mean, mum and dad, my missus, kid, 42 of my friends are coming. Like, you know how hard it was to like message, can I have 42 tickets, please? And they were just like, oh, you have to pay for some of them. And I was like, take off what you owe me.
Yeah.
My mum has been the best supporter, and my dad. Like, I can tell you so many stories of my dad driving me up and down this country. Like, drove me to Newcastle and back, which is 8 hours one way. So
oh my gosh!
Like, honestly, my dad is a great dude. My mum is my inspiration. Like, just to have a moment where I can actually, I'm getting emotional, but just having a moment where I can actually say, like, in my hometown, in like the places that I actually grew up in the most iconic stadium, to say like I'm a champion. Like, I'm a part of history, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where, like, it's everything that I've imagined and dreamed of doing, and it's right in front of me. It's representing my mum, my dad, but more importantly, like, representing the whole country, man.
And you, it's all your work. You did all this.
I'll do it for me one day, but like for now, it's just for everyone that's ever been a part of this journey,
Well, best of luck at All In. Best of luck tonight on Dynamite. And again, I can't stress it enough. We're so lucky to have you here. You're the shit.
You're gonna make me cry. She's doing this. She's gonna literally make me cry.
This is just gonna be a show where I try to get everybody to cry.
Get out of
myself included.
Shut up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.